Welcome back to From the Desk of Chase. This is episode 4. I am your host, Chase. How are you guys doing? I can't believe we've made it 4 episodes. Podcasting has been one of the only things I've been thinking about. Now, I didn't put out an episode yesterday. I had a little streak going. I did one Monday, Tuesday. I skipped Wednesday, and then obviously I'm back Thursday. I sat down yesterday to record, and I didn't really have anything. And I've said in the past before, like, I'm not preparing anything. I kind of just want to sit down, find a few news articles, and then just go. But yesterday I sat down, I had nothing prepared, and then I saw that the United States seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. And it had just happened right as I sat down. So I saw that, and I was scrolling through the tweets, looking at everyone's reactions. It seemed like it was a big deal, right? Because the United States they've been bombing these boats off the coast of Venezuela for the past couple months now. Has it been months or weeks? I don't know. It's been a while. Okay, and then yesterday they seized an oil tanker. But I was sitting down to record, or I was sitting down to see if I felt like recording. And then that popped up. So once that popped up, I was like, oh, I can talk about this on the pod. This will be a great episode. I think I could do 40 minutes on the Venezuelan drug trafficking or whatever. We're going to dive into all of it. But before we get into that, what I want to say is thank you so much for all the interactions on episode 3. Now, when I started this podcast, I thought the main audience would be people coming over from my Twitter, because I post all of these on Twitter. They added a new feature where you can link a YouTube video to a tweet, and it looks nearly similar to a Twitter video without actually leaving the site, even though it's on YouTube. It's great. So when starting this podcast, I thought, oh, I'll just post these to my Twitter. My Twitter followers will come, they'll view the podcast. Episode 3 got picked up by the YouTube algorithm a little bit. And now when I say picked up by the YouTube algorithm, I don't mean it's sitting at like 10K views, 1K views. It's sitting at 200 views, but that's by far the most viewed episode. And it's still going. I have this app on my phone. It's called YouTube Studio. And you can go in there and you can look at the back end of your show. And it'll give you like a little graph for, I don't know I think it's the views graph. There's like 100 graphs. But the main graph I look at is the views one. And in mine, when you post a video, usually it goes straight up. Excuse me. It goes straight up. And then it'll flatten out over time. Well, episode 3's graph, it did the straight up thing, and then it flattened out, and then in a few hours after that, it started going up again. It made like a curve up. And I was going through the YouTube Studio app, and it said like views. The views were. It's so hard to explain. You guys can't see it. And I have to be better at this, at trying to articulate what's in my mind. If you're familiar with the YouTube Studio app, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you're not, I'm speaking gibberish to you right now, and I can't have that. But anyway, episode 3 hit the YouTube algorithm more than any other episode. So I'm excited to see how that does, especially over the next week or so. I'm nervous it'll get too many views. When I started this, I was like, oh, if my show doesn't get a lot of views, I'm not going to keep doing it. Now I'm nervous it's going to get too many views. Especially with episode 3. And like right at the start of episode 3, I'm like, oh, I don't care if I get canceled. Let's just get it over with. Obviously, episode 3 was about the Nick Fuentes, Piers Morgan interview. Right at the beginning, I was like, yeah, I don't want to get canceled, or I do want to get canceled. Let's just get it over with so we can continue on with the show. But if that video blows up, I take it back completely. I don't want to get canceled. Bro. So yeah, hopefully that video doesn't blow up. Hopefully this one does. This one should be better. I think the Venezuelan topic is more mainstream. Everybody has their opinions on it. Whatever. I don't know. I haven't dug into this much. I think it's a good idea probably that America is, being more active in their own hemisphere or in their own continent, which I guess is South America. South America's its own continent, right? So I guess not on their own continent, but in the region. We're not in the Middle East anymore. We're not getting our fingers wet in the Middle East anymore. Which that was a shit show. That was a total shit show. If we're gonna do some bullshit, like we gotta show our power, we're gonna do it. Let's just do it near us. Well, no, let's not. Well, I don't know. See, I don't know. I don't know. Do you want to do it far away or do you want to do it near us? But whatever. We'll get into it, okay? Because I've done no research. Again, the only thing, I just read tweets. My information comes straight from Twitter. All my information is straight from Twitter or YouTube. Whatever the algorithm gives me, that's where my information comes from. I don't read articles. Articles are boring, kind of, because they just say the same thing the title says, but like over and over again. So I'm out on articles. Actually, I've never even been in on articles. I'm going to start getting into articles with this show because if I'm saying things into a microphone and putting on the internet, I need to flush out some of these things that I'm looking at on the internet rather than just look at tweets. Now, is looking at tweets a good idea? I think it is. I think if most people just got all their information from Twitter, it would be better. Like if we gave these if boomers knew how to use smartphones. Well, actually, what's the issue with that? Boomers using smartphones, they get fucked by AI, dude. They actually get fucked by AI. The people in the Middle East, in India, actually, yeah, I'll get into it. They have farms out there, like they have, what are they? They're not data centers. They're the call centers. The call centers in India, in the Middle East, I think Northern Africa, Nigeria, a lot of these places, they have these big call centers with hundreds of iPhones just making AI videos all day. And then they post them on Facebook and it farms boomers. Boomers are outraged by this. It's a crazy scam. I don't know if I haven't gone deep enough into that scam to where like if there's a way they're getting money out of people. I don't know. It's almost like it's just like an outrage farm. Or maybe they're getting ad revenue from this. Who knows? But dude, there's this one. I was talking to my grandparents at Thanksgiving and they're like, yeah, I saw on Facebook that one of these race car drivers, they crashed their car and died. And then the next week I was watching the race and he was alive. I was so confused on how. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, you're getting farmed. You're actually getting farmed. And dude, it's sad. So maybe most people shouldn't get their news from Twitter, but at least like the younger generation. The younger generation needs to get off Instagram Reels. It needs to get off TikTok. It needs to come to a real man's app. It needs to get off Reddit. Get on Twitter, people. Get on Twitter. It's the best app. It's so fun. It has its own culture. I think TikTok's like that too. The Instagram and Facebook, they're I don't know about those. I don't think they have like an established culture. Instagram and Facebook are weird, but TikTok and Twitter, they're good. I don't like TikTok personally. It used to be good, and now it's just too advertising. Way too advertising. Also, shout out to everybody who said something nice on episode 1. There was 3 comments. This is what I'm saying about the YouTube algorithm. They were like, I talked earlier in the episode about building an army. We're going to find a name for the listeners. If you have any ideas, drop them in the comments below. Or tweet at me at Chase6D. Tweet at me any ideas you guys have for names for the listeners. We're building an army, and I said brick by brick. Brick by brick. Someone said here, let me look at it. Welcome back. There's the video. Someone said here, they said, as a fellow Chase, I have a theory. Most dudes named Chase are so chill. I've yet to meet an uncool Chase. I appreciate that. His name is Chase McCarty, 3952. And Fig says, insane that the algorithm chose me. So the video was getting pushed out. The video was getting pushed out. So guys, if you're here, if you've made it back, if you've come 2 episodes in a row, drop some suggestions in the comments. Let me know what I need to do in the comments. Segment ideas, names for the viewers, something I need to change. Please, all the criticism helps. It helps. Tell me what to do, guys. I'm not an expert in this. I'm just projecting my voice into the void. If you listen, you listen. If you don't, you don't. And that's about it. Now, some days I'll do news. Some days I'll do sports. It's a whole thing. My favorite football team, and most people know me from Twitter as a Patriots fan. I just tweet about the Patriots. That's what I do on social. I just tweet about the Patriots. I wanted to start a podcast, and I'm going over this again. I said this all in episode 1. There's a lot of new people, or I guess not a lot, but a lot to me. There's a lot of new people to me listening and seeing for the first time. So it feels right to rehash. But I don't know. I think I'm going to lose a lot of people doing that. So let's just get right into it. The Venezuelan oil tanker. Here we go. Here's a summary. This comes from Wikipedia. I just typed in on Google Venezuelan oil tanker. And it says top stories. And then off to the right, it gives us a little section here. This is new. This must be a new feature on Google. Google's in the shitter, by the way. As soon as Windows gets the ChatGPT browser, I think I'm going to switch to that. I tried Opera. Opera wasn't good. It was laggy. They were giving me ads. But Google, I am out on Google. I need something better. I really need something better. Anyway, United States seizure of the oil tanker Skipper. On December 10th, 2025, the United States seized the oil tanker Skipper in the Caribbean Sea off the coast of Venezuela. Skipper had been sanctioned by the United States Department of Treasury in 2022 for alleged involvement in oil trafficking network involving the Islamic Revolution Guard Corps and Hezbollah. Now, that makes no sense to me. That little description right there, off rip, I don't even trust it. I would trust one of those AI farm data center posts on Facebook more than I trust that. And I'm not even kidding. I think a third world Indian who creates fake news stories to farm old people with, I think their stories that they send out have more truth than this. Now that I look at this twice. Because I read it once before the show. But yeah, this makes no sense to me. I don't understand. And I could be totally wrong. I don't know Venezuelan politics. I don't know what Venezuela, who they're aligned with. I know they like China. So I guess it doesn't surprise me that they have friends in the Middle East. But Venezuela is full of oil. Hezbollah in these Islamic countries, they're full of oil. Why the hell are they exchanging oil? What are they doing? It doesn't really make much sense to me. Now, the purpose, our government, America's government, they're telling their citizens, we're in Venezuela for these drug traffickers. You know, they've been bombing the boats, which I think the boats are drug trafficking boats. I do. I don't see the pictures I've seen of those boats. People are saying they're fishing boats. Those look nothing like fishing boats. I'm from New England. We fish. Fishing boats have a top. They have a roof on them, bro. Those weren't fucking fishing boats. They had 4 engines. Whatever. Those weren't fishing boats. I think the boats were drug boats. I genuinely do. I genuinely think that the boats were drug boats. But that's the reason we're in Venezuela in the first place, apparently, is because of the drug cartels. They're smuggling drugs up, which, again, is true. This is all true information. There's a lot of drugs being poured into America from South America. Okay, these South American countries are pouring drugs in. Now, does most of it come from Mexican cartels? I think that is where most of it comes from. I think Colombia is another big one. But they're sending a message by going after Venezuela. And I think that's for 2 reasons. There could be 3 reasons, actually. I've heard a bunch of different things. Now, when I say I've heard, I don't have any inside sources. I don't have any scoops. What I mean by I heard is I read it on Twitter. That's what I told you guys that already. Okay. It could have been an AI that I read this from. It could have been an Indian guy giving me fake news. It could be a troll. I don't know. Okay. But 3 things that make the most sense to me are these. This is why we're in Venezuela. I've heard Marco Rubio, I guess he has like this I don't even know the word. He just doesn't like Venezuela. His parents, they left Cuba to go to the tip of Florida. They immigrated out of Cuba, or they fled Cuba. And he was raised in America. And I guess there's an alliance there with Cuba and Venezuela, and it's the whole socialist communist. You guys know what I'm saying. There was an alliance there, and Rubio blames Venezuela for what happened to Cuba. It's something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I did read that on Twitter. I think that's plausible. I think our Secretary of State could just be so mad Venezuela ruined his childhood, ruined his parents' home country. He could be, and he just wants to go after them. Now, the United States needs to go after some country in South America. They need to go after some country in South America, because it's not just one of these countries where the drugs are flowing from, okay? It's all of them. Now, some do it more than others. Like I said, Colombia, Mexico, those are probably the 2 big ones. But there still are drugs coming from Venezuela. And the United States government, if they go balls to the wall, full max pain on just one of those countries or one of those cartels, it sends a message to all of them. It sends a message to all of them. Because these cartels may be big enough to where you need to scare them into submission. I don't know if you could force them into submission. Now, I don't know if you could force them into submission without like boots on the ground or totally fucking destroying South America. I mean, it's already a shithole, but like you'd have to make it more of a shithole. Okay. Like, I don't think you could destroy them with like tactically placed fucking missiles or whatever the new military technology is. Like, you'd have to go on the ground and fucking one by one clear these places out. Right. And I don't think Trump wants to do that. I mean, he said, he's like, we may have to put boots on the ground. But again, I think it's just scare tactics, because these cartels are terrified of the U.S. military. Let's be honest. Most of these people are just like normal dudes that can't make it. They get sucked up in the cartel. They run drugs for the powerful people in the cartel. They run drugs for the smart guys who don't get involved. Like, the people running the cartel, they're not on the floors, bro. They're not on the floors. They're not the one doing all the bullshit. Like, the head guy of the cartel is like the head guy of a state. He's got armed security 24/7. He's in a mansion. He's not doing any of the bullshit. He deals with the politics of it all. I bet you he's talking to negotiators from the U.S. Who knows how it goes? I'm just guessing. But I don't think the United States wants to go, on foot, clearing out country by country. And that wouldn't be good for us. That wouldn't be good for anybody. But so they need to send a message to the cartels by doing like the fishing boat strikes, seizing the oil tanker. Because the lower level cartel members, they see that. Remember, these are just average Joes, kind of. Right? They've been recruited. They've been forced to work for the cartels. Those people see that. They see the images of just a boat going along in the ocean and blowing up all of a sudden. That makes them think twice. They see that and they think, wait, it may be more dangerous to be a part of the cartel than to go against the cartel. Does that make sense? Because they're doing the cartel work because they're scared of the cartel. The cartel in the United States government, they're having a scared off. They're trying to scare the people into turning on. The United States government needs to be more scary to these people than the cartels are to them. And by blowing their family members up from space without any incoming knowledge, that scares the piss out of them. They would rather turn against the cartel than fuck with missiles falling out of space, right? So by doing this, we're it's sending a message. Now, a lot of people want to talk about like, oh, these are war crimes. Oh, Trump said no new wars. And I agree, right? Like, I agree. Also, people are saying this could be for oil. So those were the three things right there. And I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. As I go, I'm thinking of more things to say while also trying to load things in the chamber to say in the future. So my brain and my mouth here, they're not synced up. I'm not used to the whole podcasting thing. So the three things are this. You got Marco Rubio, who has this personal vendetta against Venezuela. You have the United States government that needs to send a message to all of these cartels in South America. Again, not a specific one, just all of them. That, hey, we have bombs that fall from space exactly on your location. We know where you are at all times. Don't do these crimes. And then the third one is, what the fuck is the third one? I honestly don't know. I had the third one a second ago. I had it. I was fucking going off. Whatever. I'll think of it again in a second. But there's a third one. Oh, the oil. The oil. I'm sorry. The third one is the oil. If we can get more oil in our hemisphere, on our side of the globe, if we can control or seize or slow down other countries' oil, that makes our oil more valuable. That makes our oil more valuable. I also read earlier this week that someone in the EU, some country in the EU, they were trying to buy former seized assets out of Brazil. These were Russian seized assets. And some country in the EU was trying to buy them, but I guess America swooped in and bought it first. So I don't know what this play is. We're looking for oil in South America, or if we're destroying oil fields in South America, or if we want them all for ourselves so we can sell the oil instead. I don't know. You know, I don't know. These deals, these are above my pay grade. I don't know. I know countries need oil, you know, to survive. America has a lot of oil. We sell a lot of oil. Venezuela has a lot of oil. So Venezuela, we're choosing Venezuela because they cover all three of those bases: the Marco Rubio, the oil, and we're sending a message to the cartels. That's it. And they're gonna do it under the guise of the fentanyl, which is also a plus too. It's also a plus. Like, the fentanyl is bad, right? So sending a message to the cartels and maybe that'll slow down some of the fentanyl production, the drugs rolling across, the cocaine, whatever's coming across the border. Hopefully that'll slow it down. And here's another one that I don't know if I've ever seen anyone talk about, but I've had this thought before. The US dollar needs a war. It needs a war so the US dollar can survive. Because if you get into wars, you can print money to do. There's a whole thing. I listened to a podcast. I don't know if it was an audiobook or a podcast that I listened to, but it was pretty much something along the lines of like the United States government needs war, or not the government, the United States dollar needs war so that printing money is worth it. I don't know. It was a book on like the Fed and Bitcoin and hard assets. It was confusing, and I was doing it while I was working, so I don't even know. But maybe this is it too. I'm just throwing out theories of why we would go into Venezuela, what we're doing. You guys can decide for yourselves. Let me know in the comments. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm just a kid in New Hampshire. I have zero geopolitical knowledge. I'm just speculating on why my country may be doing this. Do I like that we're doing this? I personally don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. It's not anywhere near me. Hopefully it's for the right reasons. Hopefully it's good. Here's a few more headlines here. Venezuela accuses the United States of piracy after seizing massive oil tanker. Sure, like whatever. Another one, this comes from the New York Times. Oil tanker U.S. seized off Venezuela has faked its location before. So again, who knows? Maybe this boat does have drugs in it. Maybe this boat is doing some illegal activities. A lot of these countries, when they are smuggling drugs, they'll do it in crazy ways. I forget what the show was I used to watch when I was a kid. I don't know. Maybe it was Live PD or it was a Border Patrol show or something. These people, they would cut holes in tires of tractor trailer trucks, stuff it with drugs, and bring it across the border. That's why we have the dogs down there. These drug dealers, these guys, these heads of the cartels, they are smart people, dude. Now, they're using their smarts for the wrong reasons, but they're very intelligent. If you're going to war with the United States federal government, you're intelligent. Okay, if you're succeeding in war, like these guys are succeeding, obviously. We have a drug problem in America. They're doing their job. These guys are smart. They can adapt quickly. It would not shock me whatsoever if an oil tanker, if one of the rooms in the bottom of the thing was packed to the gills with coke or fentanyl or whatever the drug is that they're bringing across. Would not shock me at all. You have one of these guys at the head of the cartel. They call up, they have a guy. It's like the Italian. They have a guy that does the blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden you have a room on an oil tanker filled with their product. They may have had to kill a few guys along the way, but it happened, right? I'm telling you, bro, people in these countries, they do not fuck with the cartel. They get what they want. They get what they want. And the government is probably complicit too. I know Trump is accused of Maduro of doing that, like whatever, being involved with the cartel. So maybe, I don't know. Here we go, Newsweek. Venezuela outrage after United States seizes oil tanker. Live updates, that was 2 hours ago. NBC News says the United States intends to seize oil from the tanker captured near Venezuela. This was 51 minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to seize an oil tanker, we may as well take the oil, right? Now, I guess we'll have to see if there was drugs found on this oil tanker. We'll have to see. I've also seen, actually, let me pull this up. This is funny. Mark Warner here. He's a U.S. senator from Virginia, vice chairman, Senate Intel Committee. I've never heard of this guy before. You know, I'm not from Virginia, but I guess he's a senator, Mark Warner. He tweeted out this. So they can seize an oil tanker, but not a drug boat. Mark is insinuating that we should have blown up the oil tanker. Okay, dude. Let's just release hundreds of millions of gallons of oil into the ocean. And I'm sure Mark is a climate change guy. Whatever. I just thought that was funny. But who knows? If we're going to take an oil tanker, we may as well take the oil off it. We may as well profit from it as a country. If we're going to do this stuff, let's at least like gut it, get whatever we can, take all the oil, take the ship, repurpose the ship. Hopefully they find drugs. I guess we'll see. This can be an ongoing story we cover on the podcast. We'll check in on it. Okay. We'll check in on it. What else do we have here? Let's click more news. Maduro calls Trump's actions decisive. That comes from CNN. Or that's Machado. That's Machado. I don't even know who Machado is. She's the Venezuelan opposition leader, and she was speaking in Norway, I guess. She calls Trump's actions decisive. Which, okay. Yeah, is she the one we're going to install there if we overthrow their government? I don't know. But no, the Venezuelan thing is crazy. I hope we don't go to war with them. 1 hour ago, CNBC says United States is preparing to seize more oil tankers off the Venezuela coast. Okay. All right, so we're just going to go after these oil tankers. Again, like I said, I don't know what's going on. They're saying it's a drug thing, but we're taking oil tankers, and we got Rubio sending a message. I don't know. I don't know. Let's go to pod topics. Donald Trump. This is a new one. Donald Trump $1 million gold card goes live. An applicant receives lawful permanent resident status as an EB-1 or EB-2 visa holder. A direct path for citizenship for all qualified and vetted people. So Trump's his gold card. He announced this a while ago. I don't remember when exactly. Maybe it was over the summer. He announced this card where people, foreigners, if they can spend, a certain amount of money. I think it's $1 million. It says right there. I just read it. Dumbass. You can spend $1 million and you can cut the line for citizenship or something like that. The money goes directly to the United States. We're making immigration pay to win. But anyway, this isn't an immigration episode, so I don't want to jump into it. But I'd rather have rich immigrants than poor immigrants. We'll say that. So who knows if this is a good idea? I just wanted to bring it up. Again, this will be one of those ones. I doubt we'll hear much more about this. Hopefully it works out. It'll be a good source of revenue, maybe. And then the last thing here, this comes from Megatron Ron. So I have again, talked about it twice already. No idea where my information comes from. I have no idea. This is just a tweet from Megatron Ron. He says, breaking. Trump administration is discussing the idea of creating an alternative to the G7 without Europe. Oh, and right here it says per Politico. So again, I don't know if Politico is a credible source or not. We'll figure that out later. Or never. I'll never figure that out. Whatever. I've seen them before. I've heard of Politico. The proposed, it's going to be called the C5 or the Core 5, would unite 5 heavyweights. So it would unite United States, China, Russia, India, and Japan. Now that's a crazy alliance. Again, this seems fake to me. Now, if it was United States, Russia, India, and Japan, and they called it the C4, maybe. But I can't see us aligning with China. I can't. I can see us aligning with Russia the way things are going. That is one I've been keeping an eye on for a while. And this may be the first place you hear it. I don't know. You may have heard it before, but look out for the United States and Russia to align. Like formally align. I'm serious. I think that there's a real possibility that happens. Now, like I said earlier, I have zero geopolitical knowledge. Okay? But it would not shock me if the United States and Russia align. Now, I don't know if it'll be during Trump. We know Trump has a connection with Putin. I don't know if it'll be during the next presidency. If it's a Democrat, definitely not. If it's a Republican, I can see it happening. And I think we would team up with them to go against China. Now, I have boots on the ground in China right now. Not me physically, but one of my friends is in China. So when he comes back, I'll have all the inside info on China. Now, is this a diplomatic mission he was on? No, he wasn't on a diplomatic mission. He was in China to go visit his brother and go be a tourist. So I don't know if he got the most authentic view of China, we'll say, but I'm going to ask him some questions about it. Probably not going to have him on the pod, but we will have an inside source in China that will report back. And if you guys, if you're an inside source somewhere, if you're, this is a global show. Okay. If you're somewhere on the earth right now and you have a story that we can cover on the pod, please leave it in the comments. Okay. I'll cover anything. Like I said, right now it's been U.S. politics. There's been a couple big stories recently, so we've dove into those. I like the politics. I do. It's fun, I think. I think talking politics is fun, especially when you're by yourself. I don't have to listen to anyone else. You know, like talking politics usually sucks because you have to listen to the other person give you their opinions on it that are wrong. But when I'm by myself, I can just talk about it. I can just say, I can talk politics all I want. I don't have anyone screaming at me. Oh, you're racist. You're racist. What? Dude, we're talking about Venezuelan drug boats, bro. But it's kind of sick, actually. Now, I could just do this every day. I could talk politics by myself every day. And we will. The show is going to continue, guys. The podcast has been one of the funnest things I've done. Right. And we've gone through the Venezuela stuff. I've gone through all my topics. I've said I'm unprepared, right? I've told you guys in multiple episodes in a row that I don't want to prepare for the show, but I may be forcing myself to. If I actually have people that are listening, I may have to force myself to prepare. I may have to come with a good show every time. And if that means just becoming geopolitical Chase, I may have to do it. I may become an expert on geopolitics. Which that would be fun, honestly. That would be fun. I need insiders, though. I don't have insight. It's impossible to do geopolitics without an insider. I listen to these other shows. You got Tim Dillon. He's having dinners with JD Vance, and then he just comes on the show the next day and just tells everybody what JD Vance told him to say. I don't have that. I don't have any insiders. I just have to guess. I literally just have to guess. I don't know. I'm reading tweets and guessing. And that's what most people do nowadays. That's what's part of this. We have this new age of news and information, and nobody knows what's true, especially with AI coming in. Nobody knows what's true, which is crazy if you actually think about it. It's just you're getting all of your information from a screen, and nobody knows what's real and what's fake. I've had this thought before. I've thought, imagine if I just didn't go on the internet, right? And I just, woke up, went to work, came home, watched movies, watched shows, played video games without seeing any news ever. Dude, it would be crazy. I don't know if I could function. I bet it would feel so slow. The world would feel slow, which is a good thing, I think. Which is the world. If you just didn't see a single article or a single Karen yelling in your face on the internet, or just anything, it would be slow, dude. And I may do, like, I'm not saying now. This is maybe in 5 years I'll get off the internet. Guys, in 5 years I will get off the internet. Okay? Put a bookmark in it. What day is it? December 11th, 2025. On December 11th, 2030 will be my last day on the internet. Now, by 2030, the internet may be wiped out anyway. An EMP could go off. A solar flare could happen. I hope that happens. Well, no. If a solar flare or EMP happens, is the world over? I'm thinking the world's over because, yeah, it's over. There would be mass hysteria. People would be running on the streets. The cities would implode. Like, I would be fine. I'd be totally fine. I live in the woods. I'd be chilling. I'd be chilling. The only thing is food. I don't know if we have enough canned food to survive. We'd have to hunt. Now, and I got guns and stuff, so I'd just go out. I'd go in my backyard and hunt. If I walk in a straight line from my backyard, I don't know the next house I'd run into, so I'd be fine. Now, the cities would implode. The cities would be cooked. If an EMP went off, I would never step foot in a city again, I don't think. Dude, it would be a zombie apocalypse, bro. It would be a zombie apocalypse. The Avengers would need to save us if there was an EMP. And speaking of the Avengers, actually, I saw a clip last night of Iron Man 1. Dude, I gotta rewatch that movie. He came down, he just killed the terrorists, and the caption was like, "Remember when superheroes used to kill bad guys?" And I was like, dude, yes, like that movie was fucking sick. That's what America needs, bro. We need Iron Man. Why the fuck has Elon Musk not invented Iron Man yet? Why hasn't Palantir, why hasn't Peter Thiel invented Iron Man yet? And I bet they have, honestly. It's probably planned for release in like 2035. They just gotta wait like 10 more years. Their technology has advanced so fast that they're so backlogged that they're just like, okay, if we release the AI in 2022, That'll give us at least 5 years of profit. Then after that 5 years is up, we'll release the Iron Man. I can't wait till we have Iron Man, bro. I cannot wait. Dude, it's going to be so fucking sick. You'll just have like a criminal in a city. And by criminal, bro, I mean like someone fucking jaywalked. You have a jaywalker, and just Iron Man comes down from the sky. And we're not gonna have one Iron Man, bro. We're gonna have multiple Iron Mans. There'll be a fleet. There'll be a fleet of these things. We'll have a fleet of Iron Mans, and one of them just they'll be hovering around us, 24/7, over top of us. And if you jaywalk, that Iron Man's gonna come down, scoop you up, rip you in half, and then fly you back into space. Okay, that's what's gonna happen, and I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for it. And it'll only be in cities too. Have you guys played Arc Raiders? You know, like you go into like a red zone or a yellow zone, and all the drones are like flying around guarding that place. I'll take a drive down to Boston, and I'll just like, you'll cross that one bridge. And you'll just see the drones hovering around. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Thank God I don't live there. Holy shit. Thank God I live in the woods, bro. And I'll be like, whoever's in the passenger seat, like, dude, remember that EMP attack, bro? This is what happened. This is what happened. They had and I keep hitting my desk, guys. I'm sorry. If you hear the boom or I move my hands when I talk. It's kind of it's a you guys know it's a thing, but it's a thing I do. And I'm too scared to back up my wheelie chair because you'll hear the wheelie chair on the mic. I'm terrified of extra noise coming through. In episode 3, I think I turned my microphone down even a little bit too much, so it's back up again. So now I'm being extra careful. My chair squeaks too. Ready? Listen to this shit. I don't know if you guys heard that, but it was squeaking. Okay. Now I'm going to roll backwards. So just, if you hear the chair sound, guys, it's okay. I put on a professional podcast. There we go. I rolled backwards. But I don't know. I'm scared of extra noise. I want to put on a high quality professional show. I don't live in a studio, bro. I don't know the nearest studio to me. I don't even know if my state has studios. You guys don't understand, dude. I don't live in the times. Okay? I'm a fossil, bro. In New England, you ever hear that song by Noah Kahan, Sticks? It's like Stick Season or Six Season or something like that. That song is very accurate. It's a very accurate representation of New England. But dude, I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything else. If I lived in like Austin, Texas or LA, bro, I'd be an alien. Dude, I'd be an alien. Sometimes I have to go down to Massachusetts in Micro Center. It's right by Harvard University. There's a Micro Center down there, and I've gone down there to buy computer parts before when I was building my PC and when I upgraded it. Dude, I'm even an alien like around that region. Okay? I don't like it down there. I don't fuck with it. Keep me in the woods. Keep me away from the Palantir Ironmans and the Palantir drones that are going to be hovering Boston in 2030 when ChatGPT needs to drop a new product. And Palantir. They'll be partnered with Palantir. Okay? Powered by NVIDIA. But I love these big companies, dude. I do. They're fun. They remind me of the old school like railroad companies. I can't name a single railroad company, but they remind me of those companies. You know, these what is it? They're like industry breakers. They're the wedge that's going through the wall. Right? This is new uncharted territory, guys. This is cool shit. It's okay. It's okay to like cool shit. It is okay to like cool shit. If something's cool, you better like it. Okay? If you think something's cool and someone says that's not cool, fuck them. It's cool anyway. And United States companies are cool shit. Well, some of them are. Palantir, I don't know. If they make the Iron Man, yes. Even if it's like for surveillance state, I'm cool with the surveillance state if Iron Man's surveilling me. Because I know he's got my back. If the Guardians of the Galaxy were surveilling me, I'd be chill with it. I fuck with Groot, bro. I fuck with Groot. You guys ever play Marvel Rivals? Groot in Marvel Rivals, bro, his fucking walls were OP. They were OP. Then I think they nerfed him. But again, if Palantir could invent Groot, this is the 2030 project, is a living tree. Or no, not the 2030, the 2060, I'm sorry. The 2030 is the Iron Man. Had to take a sip of water there, guys. My voice gets very dry from doing this. My voice gets very dry. My mouth. My mouth. I'll be sitting here and I'll be talking for hours on end, or not hours on end. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'll be sitting here talking for minutes on end, and my voice, it starts drying out. Or my mouth starts drying out. Twice I've messed that up. Yeah, I can't wait for the surveillance state. I hope it doesn't come. And that's something I'm going to ask my buddy in China about. Or my buddy coming back from China. How was the surveillance? He said lighters get confiscated from you. So I guess they're checking people regularly. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing in China. But I know that is a surveillance state. Now, China's not one I agree with because they don't have Ironmans. The first country that gets Ironmans, remember, it's multiple of them. I will be there. Well, no, I'm not going. Well, no, because I don't travel. I don't travel abroad. I don't travel. The last time I traveled, I went to Florida. I went to Cape Canaveral. Is that a good vacation spot in Florida? I don't know. I went there. And then when I was a kid, we went to Yellowstone. But I don't travel. I got to travel more. But again, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to feel like an alien. Okay? I've been cut off from society for so long to where I don't know if traveling wouldn't be good. I'd spaz out. I would short circuit. Okay? So I can't go to the first place that has Ironmans. But we'll get them. And we'll probably be the first country anyway, so it won't even matter. And then I could just take a trip down to Boston. But anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. This podcast is supposed to be about Venezuelan boats. Dude, I don't know. I go on rants, okay? It's part of the show. If you don't like it, please don't watch. Again, we're building an army, and the army will be of people who actually enjoy themselves. We're not doing the Karen bullshit. Okay? This podcast is for fun. If you say something I don't care about, I don't care about it. Done. Get out of here. I don't want you. And again, we're gonna do this live. We're gonna do this live. I'm workshopping some stuff. And by workshopping, I just mean thinking about and when I have time to implement it. And not even, I'm just making excuses. I don't want to implement stuff right now, okay? It's just a podcast. But in the future, I want it to be live. I want to have interactions with the chat. Right now, you guys just have to leave comments that I can interact with. Okay? Leave comments, subscribe, follow on Spotify. Follow my Twitter at J6D. I'm mostly just tweeting about the Patriots on Twitter. I love the Patriots. I love Drake May, Stephon Diggs. We're 11-2. Big game against Buffalo this week. Super excited. If you like football, go listen to episode 2. I dove into it there. And by dove into it, I just shit on Bills fans the whole time. I should do a football episode soon. Or maybe just throw some football talk in at the end or at the beginning. I don't know. I'm going to start having staples of time. And what the fuck am I? I'm going to start having blocks of time. No, I don't know. I don't know if I like the blocks of time. I kind of just like talking whatever pops in my head. And again, I don't even know if anything's popping in my head. I think things are just coming out of my mouth. Okay. So it's like I go on autopilot. My mouth goes on autopilot and my brain is trying to just like fill things in as soon as it can. It's hard to talk, bro. I'm telling you, this is hard. I've never done anything like this. And I'm worried that by episode 7, I'm going to run out of things to say. I'm serious. Well, one of these future episodes, what else possibly could I say? I've never talked this much. It's a nonstop conversation for up to an hour. And so far, I think I've done, 3 40-minute episodes? One of them almost 50 minutes. So I'm not used to it. And after doing those episodes, I feel like I've talked about my entire life. What else more is there to add? So I need current events. I need comments. I need ideas, guys. I need ideas. I genuinely do appreciate all the nice things everybody said after episode 3, especially with a controversial one like that, like with Fuentes and Piers Morgan interview. Shout out the YouTube algorithm, honestly, for pushing that. And the YouTube algorithm's an AI, so I wonder if it hears if it hears the things I'm talking about and pushes it. We may have to run some experiments on that. We may have to run an experiment. And I may start. We could even do like A/B tests per episode. Okay, we could do A/B tests. I don't know. Like maybe one episode I'll do something and then I'll report back on it in the next, and then that episode we'll do something, then we'll report back, and we'll see what the algorithm likes. Again, guys, this is a group effort. This is a group effort. I can't do it all by myself. Okay, I can sit here. I can talk. There's a strategy behind all of this. All right, and we're going to implement that. And I know this is at the end of the show, so maybe one person's listening to it. Okay. Nobody survived my ramble from the end of Venezuela until now. Or one person did. One person did. Whoever that is, what's up? Hopefully you guys all survived through it. I think it's been about 50 minutes. I had to stop the recording halfway through. I thought someone came in my house. So I had to stop the recording. I started it back up again. We were at 40 minutes when I paused it there. I'm at 15 now. No, I'm at 13 now. So that means we're at what, 55? If this is the longest episode yet, and I could be wrong. I don't know. That we're doing approximations here. I have a little timer on the bottom right of my monitor. That's constantly changing, so I can't do the exact math, but we'll have to see when I press pause. Again, thank you guys all so much for watching. This is episode 4. Tomorrow's Friday. I may have an episode. If there's breaking news between now and 2 p.m. tomorrow, I'll do it. I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm actually going to work IRL Saturday. I'm going to work on a Saturday. I know. Bullshit. Take Sunday off. I'll be back Monday with a new episode. We'll gather up all the news from that week. I'll probably even cover the Patriots game. They play Sunday. Yeah. Other than that, hope you guys have a great weekend if I'm not back. And we gotta find an outro segment. We got to find an outro segment. And I know I keep rambling this on. It feels like I've ended the show nearly 6 times now. But we got to find something to do during the outro. The see ya is getting old. Who knows? These are little things. These are the details. These are the details that make shows great compared to good. So we'll figure something out. There's a lot more bigger things on the priority list first than figuring out an outro, but we'll get there. It'll eventually be priority number 1. When figuring out the outro is priority number 1, that's how you know we're going to have a good show. That's how you know we got a good one. All right, everybody. That'll do it.